Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It has been a minute. We haven't been live in a while.
It's been a long time, everybody. We missed you.
I was looking back through our history. Oh, you know what? I was looking at videos, not live streams. Because I very keenly remember being live in this room.
Yeah, it's a different time.
We're still in, as Steven affectionately calls it, Zach's attic. We're in my home office streaming. We are working towards getting our offices and studio built out. And that has been a true labor of love for me. And a labor of labor. It is man, building things is hard.
Building things is hard. 0 for 3 so far.
Yep. Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
I'm tired.
It's good to see y'all.
Oh, you meant them.
Everybody, well, that's me, obviously.
I've got months of live stream shenanigans toward it. We recorded a video just a second ago. We're doing that. We're kicking off the previous season for Alpha Clash.
Yeah.
And
great new mechanic in set 2 and some incredible art in that set.
And it was very tough for me to get through that recorded video because the recorded videos are like more produced and cut and short versus the live stream. And I just found myself continually about to just branch off. And like at some point I was like, I'm just going to let Steven take it from here.
You don't want to meander as much, because you kind of got to get it. And it's preview season too, so you don't want to keep people waiting super long on things that they might actually be interested in.
We did though. It's like 12 minutes in.
We did, yeah.
John's going to have to cut it.
You can cut it. The live streams you can't cut.
This is the fun part of the producer video, so we can just make John do a lot of things.
Now this is free work.
You can cut this to be reasonable, right? Like we gave you the raw material.
No, impossible. What's up, everybody? Hey, catching up with the chat here. I am just so happy to see all of your names.
Yeah, Alex Becker saying, "Let's go Skeleton Crew."
Alex
back,
Becker, what's up, Alex? Hey, Alex did great at Nuts.
He did.
He got like 29th or something.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Very hard to do.
I didn't think he was very good.
Well, the problem is it's just the hero selection usually.
It's because we just played Bolton.
Yeah.
Austin, what's up? Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you, Austin. Nathan Crawford says, Zach, it was great seeing you and the team this past weekend.
What up, Nathan?
Good to see you guys again from Living 4 Games. Brent Serrato missed this. Welcome back. What's up, Brent? Rob Trotter, excited you're carrying this game. I backed it, and I'm excited to see you supporting. I assume you mean this game.
Look at that thing. It's the size of Steven. It literally eclipsed you. Look, it's at least, I think we're having a shoulder width conversation. See how you can still see both my arms through this thing? Even when I lean back. But like, look at Steven.
Oh, dang.
It's gone.
Me right
it's up. Like, are you 1.5 Earthborn width? Where do you land in this measurement system?
How many stones?
So what's the old Earthborn? We actually have a lot to talk about.
What's our Brandon Wilson? Zach, it's not always about you, bro. Frank Levy, I'm always wearing my Skeleton Crew t-shirt just in case. I think Frank's got it under whatever he's wearing, and then he just rips it off at the stream starts.
I heard he had it tattooed on him.
Chris Gilbert says, hey guys, great to see you. Obsidian game box looks so good. It's so good. And Rob Trotter, I met you guys at Gen Con. Cool to see you on here again. Yes, we're in both digital and physical spaces. You can find us in either per your convenience. Let's talk about the updates, shall we?
All right, where do you want to start?
Well, I think the most important thing is Earthborn Rangers, man.
I don't know, that's the most.
This has been a long time coming. Yeah. We're going to send an email shortly, and I said as much kind of in the Discord, but this is like a decade-long in the making kind of thing.
So I met Andrew, what would that have been? I think it was 2013, maybe 2012. We were going to FFG Worlds.
Yeah.
And he was working the event in some fashion. I don't remember what he was doing exactly. But at some point, we ended up at a...
Sounds right.
Well, at that point, FFG was so small that everyone was kind of all hands on deck for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we went out to get some drinks after and learned at that point that he had been watching our Netrunner videos and our content and was a fan.
He was so nice about it, too. He was like, I love you guys. I love what you're doing. Your stuff is so great. We play at lunch every day. Like, it's like, wow.
And let me tell you, in 2012, that was not a frequent comment that we got. So it meant a lot that he was saying that. But Andrew's a great person, great friend, and eventually ended up being the head of studio at FFG.
Yeah.
And then late 2019, became aware that he was leaving the studio to start his own company, which this is their first game, Earthborn Rangers. And there's a lot about it. I could talk for a long time on why I'm very excited about this. They're very much approaching things from a sustainability, eco perspective. And also, like, I play a lot of card games, and there are not any card games like this.
Not that, I mean, the closest is almost Middle Earth CCG.
Close.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. We're getting in the ballpark, but it's solo cooperative card game, and the two things that stick out the most to me are its open world nature.
Mm-hmm.
So it very much feels there's a map. I love maps. In the middle
Dude,
of CCG.
hold on a second.
Yeah, let's get the map out.
Hold on a second, because like this trail map has driven me crazy. Can you give me the top down? Press the number small 2 up top there. And I packed this up, so this is exactly what you would expect to see. I kind of did this myself. Here's like the
premium tokens and dice and stuff.
Some wooden discs and some wooden dice.
They do, yeah. Free Ziploc.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what they come in actually. They probably don't, I don't think they come in a Ziploc at all because you said no plastic. Look at that though. Hold on, look at this.
I love this.
All paper wrappers. You see that?
Oh, that's awesome.
As if we're losing anything because it's like this. You know what I mean? Like just so smart.
This is the miniature box that the miniatures come in.
It's the cutest mini box.
Yeah, I have small hands. Anyways, and this it's just like for context, you know, banana per scale. I have small hands, so
All right.
it's tiny.
So the box is actually that Zach's hands make the box look small. It means the box is tiny.
That's the point. Yeah.
I also have actually very small hands.
Yeah. It's a known thing if you've been watching the stream for a while.
In fact, it's kind of a covenant standard.
That's part on the application.
Small-handed people only. We gotta reach in there and pack orders quickly. Then we've got. Let's just shut the front door on this one for a second.
All right.
Here's the map I was telling you about. There's a little surprise for you.
This is the lore book. Yeah. And all these things are currently available for pre-order on our website, which we'll talk about in a minute.
And don't screenshot this. You got to buy it to read this.
It's like this is going to be a really strange one. Like I said, I got energy from Month Store. You ever shopped for children's books?
No.
Because they do this so that parents can see everything that's in it. So they can make
really?
sure, and they'll just like go through all of it. It's kind of a children's book review right now. Go to Amazon, search for,
Dude, Sheldon's YouTube is like 1 billion jillion views.
Yeah, my nieces and nephews, like, the only app they use is YouTube.
I just want to dive right into this and just consume it. What Andrew suggested when we were talking about the
I didn't know you were in here.
that VLAX. Remember, we ran into this VLAX in the game, but this is now.
Oh, it's actual art now.
Yeah. So what Andrew suggested is like, whenever you run into something in the world of Earthborn.
I love these little. What would you call these? They're not proportional to what you're actually going to see the characters as, but these are on the cover too. You know, there's like the little miniature, almost like video game.
Yeah, there's a
cut
style
thing
where like when you're moving from place to place on the map, it shows you your little guys.
And how about these icons?
And honestly, this is kind of open world RPG.
Doesn't this scream like this? Reminds me so much of our tokens.
Yeah, totally. He totally copied us.
Just ripped it
entirely. I mean, he was using data tokens. We know. So
in testing.
No, in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So clearly that
settles
that.
Good artist borrow.
Check this out. So we've got a lot of backstory, but then we've got, look at all these located Spire, Lone Tree Station. So when you're in the game and you're like, I'm going to travel to Lone Tree Station.
Oh, you can read about it.
You flip to 38.
Get out of town.
Dude, and then you're like, oh, Lone Tree, here's where it is, here's the geography, and then you continue with the game?
Yeah, I really hate how much I love this.
I know, Zach.
I love lore books, but
I've been waiting on my Kickstarter to come in so I can really dive into this. I've been
me too.
Off. Like there's White Sky. Remember the dome that we the bubble that we just spent the whole time trying to get to and failed?
Yeah. It's really cool seeing this be visualized as well.
What's up, Rosiah?
Crazy. Yeah, it looks great.
Isn't that awesome? So please buy this. I mean, this is just the best thing. I would suggest buying this even if you don't play the game. Just like, what the
Start with the lore book.
Start with the lore book. See where you want to go there. All right, so check this map out. This is like $10. This is probably the easiest $10 I have ever spent.
Oh, wow.
I conceptually understood this thing.
It has like a little sidebar, like
Dude.
modern maps do.
Dude, it's like a real trail map you would get. We recently went to the Grand Canyon.
Look at this.
Except for its in-game stuff. Well, we're
all right, so okay, so hold on. First of all, we have the actual map.
That's really cool.
And I love maps. I got you.
Come on. So let's say we start at a Greenbrier Knoll there. We travel here, we put our little tokens where we need to go, you know.
The Marsh of Rebirth.
And we might not have anything to do. It might just be Zach and I might start and we'll be like, you want to go down a tumble down? We've never been there.
You got to make your way down there.
Like, all right, let's go. And then maybe we get on a mission and on the way, maybe we find somebody we need to rescue, etc. Then Look at the back of this. They did not.
Now
have
don't
to
read this.
They didn't, no, don't read. Don't screenshot this. You gotta buy this. Okay?
Isn't it crazy though? It's so funny. That's such a crazy argument to me. I remember. I won't name any names. I remember there was a publisher very early on that was like, there can't be digital versions of any of these cards online because like then people won't buy the stuff. But like, so much of the value of this is having it in my hands.
Yeah, or in my hands, as the case.
And if you can't afford $10 to buy this map, then please just take screenshots.
Yeah, take screenshots.
I know Andrew's gonna love me saying that. But
Andrew would definitely. He'd give them away if we didn't tell him to charge money for stuff.
It's like, hey, you need to actually have resources to continue doing this.
You need to make a second expansion, right? Check this out. So then we have on this map suggested like hiking trails,
which I love, and it has difficulties.
That's so cool.
It's like, which trail? You're gonna go on the hard trail?
Can you hop up here, John? Look at this. So we got the northern loop, and it's defined as just travel here. This is your northern loop. It tells you your difficulty, the distance, the duration, 2 to 4 days, and then it gives you like these highlights and dangers, what to watch out for, etc. Then you have Founder's Loop. You have Tumble Down Trail all the way down to Tumble Down. Now that's a moderate difficulty, of course. You got some hidden treasures to look for.
Yeah.
Market Loop, Swamp Trails. I mean,
now look at that. Look at how ziggy zaggy that is.
Yeah,
it's a hard difficulty.
That's the swamp.
How long is that going to take you?
There's
3 to 5 days.
There's little to recommend of the swamp. It's bleak, wet, and muddy, and teeming with hydra worms. I've been there only once, and based on my experience, I'm convinced that those who are said to have engineered the swamp, the Estians, created the place as an experiment in misery. Just little lore bits, just little. Cool. You don't have to do this kind of stuff, but you did. You freaking did, man. I love it. Always be prepared. Predators, hazards. So awesome. This is why we wanted to. We wanted to show it. We wanted to show it, and we wanted to work with Andrew to sell it, to get it in people's hands.
Can I just open one of these for
this game is
kicks?
Awesome.
That's not the one we want.
Yes.
And so I was saying open world earlier. The other thing is thematically, it was very funny. The first time we played this, we tested this pretty early.
And we got most of the rules wrong.
And it may have been on stream even. I don't remember which is which. But the first thing I wanted to do when a creature popped out was like kill it. Because it's just trained in me to do that.
Yeah.
And that is so not what this game is about. Which is, the theme of this is like post-apocalyptic but hopeful and optimistic. And not dark and like, survival. I mean, you are surviving to an extent.
Post-apostomistic.
I like what you're trying to do there.
You're not leaving like a wake of dead.
Look at this.
Right?
No, yeah, and this is what we put in the email. It's like not a dystopian 1984 Mad Max kind of thing, but a world where it was hard. We came together, figured it out, and now there's some relative harmony to our relationships with our environment.
Just gonna grab a couple of these. Look at that art style. The Cordo's Instinct.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's the...
Ooh, still sketchbook. It has art.
Yeah, that's the other one I was talking about, where it's monochrome plus the...
Dude, light as a feather. Look at that.
Oh, these look
kinetic
good.
glass sculpture. Look at this bunny.
You know what else is cool
right
here?
Off camera.
You know what else is really cool? Do you know this? I don't know if you knew all of this.
I don't know.
So all this 100% FSC certified paper, and it's all paper.
What's that mean?
The only
people that don't know out
well,
there.
actually, I had a fun conversation with Andrew about this that maybe he'll get into if he wants to. But it's a certification that says basically this was a sustainably harvested and produced product. So they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's. But it's all manufactured in Germany.
Okay.
From a forest in Germany that is sustainably managed. So it's a closed loop between harvesting the wood, making it at that factory, and then making sure that the plant life grows back year after year after year. So it's a sustainably harvested thing. And it's vegetable-based ink. So the goal was everything in this box would compost or recycle.
Yeah, because I know on standard cards, they have the core
plastic coating
and then the plastic coating that is not strictly recyclable.
That's right. The only thing that he was not able to accomplish on this is the staples in the rule book. That's the only thing that will not degrade and go away over time.
That's impressive.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
It's like
and I know he really wanted to have domestic manufacturing.
Like
and I think that was something he eventually had to not do,
Yeah.
just for lack of access and availability.
I think
and
he
cost.
would have done it if he could just buy a factory and do it himself.
Well,
but if
that's
nobody's
one way to
doing
do
that
it,
work,
yeah.
it's like, what are you supposed to do? You ask them if they'll do it, and they say we can't, and then there you go.
I think last I heard it was he couldn't do it on the timeline to get stuff out. I think
Yeah.
he's still pursuing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
very
think
cool.
he'll keep investing and looking in that
Yeah.
direction.
So this.
What else is in there?
Well,
There's that Valley campaign. Is that a campaign guide? Look at all this stuff, man. It's all awesome, and it doesn't feel good.
oh, there's different entries.
Yeah,
Like that's number
the guide.
47.
Uh-huh.
Crazy. Look at all that. That's so much.
This is
It's
all
like the
story.
choose your own adventure thing.
This is all stuff you get
Yeah,
to
so you'll get to
experience.
different points and it hits and you go read the book and what happens and all that. Here's the map that comes in the box
Current position, days.
of the valley. It's a little smaller.
Yeah, get that peasant map out of here. Not interested.
This is the rule book.
Look at that. I love that art style, Zach. I love the merging of like the weird simplicity, minimal stuff, plus the very like high definition portraits.
It's got, I think,
Those are dividers.
sturdier. These are dividers that are a little better than the typical fare. And then, of course, we got
punch-outs.
the cardboard tokens there in the box. Yeah.
You got your cardboards, and then you got the deluxes over here.
And we'll be doing, I guess I don't know this to be 100% true. What's the content plan for this one? Do you have one yet? That's in the
Content
future.
plan is to breathe for the next month.
We've been working on for like 2+ years. A lot of things to talk about. One is the new website. If you haven't seen that yet, or if you have, I'd love to know what you think in the comments, YouTube video, or on the live chat. That's been crazy. That's a insane process. And Steven, Jonathan, Larry just destroyed it. I'm very happy with it. If you haven't seen it, the feedback we've seen so far has been good, and the speed. I did not realize. I apologize to everyone. Apparently, our website was really slow, and I didn't know that. I buy a lot of stuff from us.
Yeah.
But it's usually like one thing at a time. My address is stored. My card's stored. It's like click, click. We're out of there. But apparently, some people were really just determined to buy things from us specifically. And to you, I just want to say thank you. We couldn't do anything we do without you. And hearing the feedback since, people are starting to be a little more honest with how the previous experience was. You can be honest now. So if you have any of that feedback for the current site, please let us know.
What's up, David? Good to see you. Let's throw that in there.
Speaking of which, all this is on the website.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Can you go to the top main camera? So
2 for 2 on that.
Well, let's talk about how this is going. So we've been working with Andrew on this. We worked out I guess it would be an exclusive partnership in the United States. So we're going to be the avenue through which you get these products outside of crowdfunding. Now, there is a world, and I don't know how much Andrew or us or anybody is expecting this to be the case, but I don't know. I kind of am more thinking it might happen than not. But if Earthborn is like crazy, like if it's like it goes a wingspan on us, for instance, Andrew will absolutely get it in the main line. Like, you know, if they want to print 100,000 copies and send them through all of the Barnes and Nobles and retail chains and distribution, all of that, more power to him. We can't say that, like, if that happens, we're still going to be the only place you can get this. But for now, based on particularly this first Kickstarter run, we worked it out, and Andrew, and like I said, we've known Andrew for a decade. Both of us are so excited to be working together. And we talked about this a lot actually last night. I had a meeting with Andrew just about relationship and working with people you like, and it being more than just dollars and cents, and how different it is whenever it's not just, you know, lawyers making deals. And it's just really nice to be able to have that kind of relationship in a business context with somebody who you really respect and appreciate, who's made something that you think is extraordinary with an incredible team behind them. And now we get to actually share in the sharing of that content and that game. So it's really an honor for us, for me. Like I'm just so happy to be announcing this on a personal level. So Earthborn Rangers, you can find it on our website. If you can't find it,
we have failed.
Please let me know, because something has gone wrong. And yeah, it's there until it sells out, or probably I'm saying basically, we will keep the pre-orders open as long as the products haven't sold out and the Kickstarter in the US hasn't been fulfilled. So once the Kickstarter has been fulfilled, most, if not all, of the US backers have gotten their Kickstarter products, and that's all done. The rest of that is coming to us, and then we will send that out and change it from a pre-order to a standard order. We'll stock those products as long as they're around. And once all of that first print run sells out, you guys have probably seen that the Game Found is there to print a second printing, not a second edition, but a second printing of a lot of these things if you want to get those. So that's the avenue that it'll get reprinted and then go out through crowdfunding, and we may well have some of that after that second round happens as well. So find Earthborn at Covenant.
And if you're new to Earthborn completely, this game's not out yet.
Not yet.
So the Kickstarter is not fulfilled yet.
It's out in Europe. And
it's not out in the US yet.
Canada? Is it out in Canada yet?
I don't think it's made.
Our Canadian friends have it yet? Has it not? It probably hasn't gotten across the ocean.
Yeah. It came from Germany. So.
Right, so Germany to Europe is pretty easy.
It's like already there.
Some would say.
David, that's a good question asking, do I still do marketing for Earthborn? So I never really did marketing for Earthborn. In the beginning of Andrew's ideation of Earthborn games, and this game in particular, he and I worked together. He technically hired me to do brand work on the Earthborn brand. So building like basically a sheet, a workshop of this is what we're about, this is what we believe in, kind of getting those ideas on paper so that they're a guiding philosophy for the development of the game and the brand. So I did all of that work up front, and then I haven't done anything since, and that's been a year and a half, 2 years.
2+ years ago.
2+ years. Now it's an absolute clean break, so my interests are fully with Covenant, and interests are fully with Earthborn, and those streams are not crossing. So.
And those interests are pretty aligned.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd love to see Andrew and Earthborn be very successful. I think what they're doing with this game and the experiences they're wanting to offer is something the industry could use.
Yep.
And even not even the eco side of it, which I think is also really important, but just the mentality like this, the spin on post-apocalyptic being, oh, humans work together to figure this out, and we have solved these problems, to kind of paint a future of us imagining, okay, instead of it just being this is all going to end horribly.
Humans were too selfish after all.
Yeah.
We all
Which,
failed.
Coming out of the pandemic, you might feel certain ways.
Where's my toilet paper?
Yeah, but all that to say, just that optimistic take on the industry, I really do wish that him and his team nothing but the best of success.
And we should mention his team because that's a understated piece of this equation. Andrew Fisher has done a ton of work on this game. Andrew Fisher's been critical. Evan Simonet as well. Corey DeVore and Joe Banner. Those are, like, as far as I understand it, the like truly deep level OG Earthborn team, along with Brooks and I'm sorry Brooks Flugar Leavitt. Brady Sadler and Adam Sadler, the Sadler brothers, they worked on a number of titles for FFG together. Have also helped, I think, with the development of the mechanics in the game, particularly early on.
It takes a lot of people to produce a game like this.
All done a great job.
Really well. Speaking of people, Andrew says, "What's going on in the chat?"
Andrew Navarra, hey,
the man
what's
himself.
up, Andrew? Good to see you. Good to see you. Anything else on Earthborn? Any thoughts?
I'm ready to play it.
Man, me too.
So we
it's been devastating to get this core set.
I know. Even seeing, like, I love the symbol in this.
We got it on Monday, and I haven't had a chance to play it, and I don't even know. I kind of want to wait for my Kickstarter to come.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. But we played an early version on stream without a lot of the art, and it was great then. And every time I talk to Andrew, he talks about how much better it is now than it was then. So I'm ready to just, like, take a weekend and immerse myself in the game whenever it does finally show up.
And Andrew actually visited me out at the land, and we played Earthborn for like 6 hours in my little tiny house. And it was also it was after what we had played, but it was before the final version. And we had an incredible time. It was awesome.
I mean, I had a really good time with the version we played. So.
I think it was like 2 days, and we were like 6 hours in.
2 days in the game or 2 days in real life?
2 days in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was 48 hours later.
Just kind of wigging out.
We made it. We made it to the south tip of the valley. So Earthborn, check it out on our website. We would love for you guys to experience this game. I think it's I think it's the kind of thing that is kind of a genre shaking, even maybe manufacturing shaking entry into tabletop. And everybody should know about it. Check it out. Let's talk about Sorcery.
All right, what's going on with Sorcery?
Speaking of genre shaking.
Yeah, another just, I mean, It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're really fortunate right
The,
now.
the games that we are getting to play right now. So I drafted Sorcery for the first time at Gen Con like a month ago. Somehow already.
I did. That's a month ago.
Yeah. I know. Anyways, and that game is so it's a heads up, not heads up, PvP, player versus player.
7
Heads up counts, I think. Anyways,
I think you call it a heads up game.
I wanted to say competitive game, but that's a bad label because I don't really feel like it's a competitive game at all. But what does that mean? I don't know. Everyone's trying to win. It's just a wild experience that reminds me of being a kid again, honestly. And that draft was remarkably good.
Dude, limited sorcerer is probably the best limited I've ever experienced, and there's actual reasons why. As you might expect.
All right, now that you've made your tower.
So the reason
I like it. It's playtime. Hold on. I'll take it. You just do your thing. I'll have fun.
Because there's 400 plus cards in the set.
Okay.
It's a game about big effects that are often quite conditional.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of movement involved. And all of those things combined makes draft particularly interesting because one, you can outplay people based on the movement element of the game just by being better. Very nice, thank you. Which is not something you can do whenever you're just slapping cards down during a standard game.
Yeah.
So like if you just get better cards than me, there's not a lot beyond slapping them down in a not brain dead way that will give you the win a lot of the times. But with Sorcerer, there's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of time that you can kind of squeeze out of the game to find your better cards that you've drafted.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of opportunities to set up wild conditional things that you have one card in your deck to answer. And I think I saw about every card in my Sorcery draft deck every time I played.
I was really impressed by that.
Is it 20 cards?
40.
Okay.
40?
I thought it was 24.
25?
25.
25 cards.
But you're also,
Yeah.
you can mulligan, you have the Sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's like 2 cards a turn.
and because you're drafting, obviously, weaker and more powerful cards, the games go on a little longer.
I'm only drafting powerful cards.
Yeah, well, good luck. But ideally, your 25 is actually pretty decent. But because it's so unsynergistic inherently, you can't just like kill your opponent very quickly.
Yeah.
So it gets scrappier.
Yeah.
And then because of that, you have turns where you just like tap, draw, start a turn. So you see
a lot.
a lot of your deck.
Yeah, super good format. I couldn't be more pleased with that, and it fits the game itself, where you just want to get together and enjoy the imaginative experience of big things happening in a traditional, almost like romantic fantasy era. Like that old Jeff Easley, Melissa Benson style. The art is there to just prompt you, not to define exactly what's going on. And so like you have a firebolt, but you don't have it so well defined that like it's a distinct image. It's more of an idea of, oh, well, this could kind of move in different ways in my imagination. So,
but it does move in a way,
it does.
so you can imagine the firebolt crossing the board and hitting all the things. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, it's really something else.
So here's the important thing about Sorcery, everybody. So we've had pre-orders for Sorcery beta going on for what?
All year long, basically.
A long time.
We announced an early pre-order. This is worth putting on the table.
Mhm.
So we announced an early pre-order that came with Lightning Bolt promo. And when we did that, the expectation was that beta would be out a lot sooner than it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up closing those on like May 1st or 2nd, I think. And if you ordered that, it'll say early pre-order in the title or in the order history or that kind of thing.
Limited pre-order.
Yeah. And then after that, given that there was more time before beta was coming out, we had a lot of people asking if they could still pre-order with us. So we launched what we're calling a standard pre-order, which comes with the Headless Haunt promo card, 1 per box. And
that's that. Oh my gosh, how is the name? It's the Frank Frazetta.
I was just letting you hang for a minute.
Yeah, please. Like, you get older and it's like you have to just keep finding it, or else you're giving up. Do you feel that way these days?
You can't just be like, I'm
unwilling to surrender to my memory getting worse.
That's probably good.
Maybe
that's probably good.
It probably actually doesn't matter. Yeah. It's going.
I'm not. I don't really remember if I'm committed to that or not.
Frank Frazetta did that Headless Haunt, and it's like holding the pumpkin or whatever, and it's a Halloween kind of vibe, so it's very cool.
So that is the standard pre-order, and that's what's open right now, and that is going to be closing next Friday. And by next Friday, I don't mean whatever this Friday is.
Yeah. Next Friday.
So it should be September 8th, right?
And it'll be early morning too.
All
so
right.
like don't dance around with it.
If you're
It's
seeing this,
Thursday.
it's the 7th. Order by the 7th.
Order by the 7th.
Central Time. If you want to get in.
And
because we're going to cut that off.
If you're the person that's trying to
want
order
more?
at 9 a.m. and you see that it's out of stock and then you write and you're like, is there any way? No. No, there's not. Just you have to get in. Deadlines have to happen at some point.
Yep.
And if you can get in after a deadline, it's not a deadline. So you just got to get your order in if you want Sorcery Beta. Now, this is not the kind of thing where once the Sorcery Beta pre-order is over, oh my gosh, I can't ever get Sorcery Beta again. Sorcery Beta will be available after the release in various places.
Presumably. We don't know what's going to happen once it comes out. I
think it's going to be absolute pandemonium.
I agree.
Honestly.
That's what so like pre-ordering guarantees you get it with a promo. I don't know. FOMO is not the goal here. If you just want to know you're getting it and that is of value to you, I would pre-order whatever you're planning on pre-ordering. And then if you're willing to wait and you don't really care, then that is up to you. Who knows? We've done this a lot now. I've seen various games. I think Sorcery...
Roll up a stool.
Yeah. I think Sorcery is a phenomenal game. And I think that people who have yet to experience opening it and playing it don't fully... like their hook is that all the art's hand-painted.
Yeah.
It's like physically painted art, scanned in and put on the cards. And it looks different than every other game. It looks like an old game, but a new game at the same time. It's crazy. But... the actual opening and playing and realizing how much product you did or didn't buy or did or didn't get, my expectation is that it's going to be crazy.
Yep.
And if that happens, good luck.
Here, let me tell you 2 anecdotes. Jonathan, lead designer over here, been here forever, responsible for basically everything you see. Played Sorcery.
I've never seen someone go crazier over a game. He's like playing every night, and that's like out of character.
I'm like, what is this giant sorcery order that's come through here?
Yeah.
It's Jonathan.
Yeah, well, and he was asking me about like how many boxes come in a case, and he was like, well, that's really not that much for all the cards that I want to get.
Jonathan's never thought about ordering a case of anything.
Yeah.
Aside from like maybe, I don't know, flaxseed or something.
I was going to say, I don't know that I've ever heard the word case come out of his mouth. Like, that's
not
crazy.
For games. Yeah, not for games. Yeah. So Jonathan did that, and then Jonathan got on Tabletop Simulator and played Sorcery for the first time with our lead developer, Larry. And then Larry places a huge order for Sorcery.
Yeah. I mean, he's got it bad when he's just like, when you're into a game so much that you are like willing to teach whoever's interested.
You're willing to get on Tabletop Simulator?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hoops. Anyways, basics, if you want to guarantee you're getting boxes, we're going to ship those on a timeline to get them to you on release date. For beta, for Sorcery, orders are guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And they come with a Headless Haunt promo. And to everyone that has pre-ordered those already, huge shout out to you. Thank you. Yeah, it's really crazy. And what we've already seen on our side has been crazy. So we'll see. I could be totally wrong. Print runs are really hard to get right. But every time people engage with this game, I see what happens. And I'm just expecting it to be a runaway success.
Especially if they have like a year between sets. It's like... how long is that beta going to last? I don't know.
I got a question from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
For me personally. How many boxes would you say to roughly approximate a play set? Like if you were out there like, and be like, man, I want to make sure that I can play this forever. I'm never going to miss.
Didn't Haynes do the math on this?
Yeah, Haynes the guy for this. So he has a YouTube channel, I think, called Wizards Den. Mm-hmm. Very useful videos. I remember when I was doing the math on giving myself a shot at all the uniques.
No. What?
Well, so not a realistic shot. But basically, would you open enough uniques that if it was perfectly distributed, you would have a set?
Yeah.
And that was 8 boxes.
Okay.
But at 8 boxes, the rarity in that system also dictates how many you can have in a deck. So ordinary is 4, all the way up to unique is 1, and there's 2 and 3. Elite is 2, exceptional is 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that one always gets me.
Except for the longer word, that's how.
Yeah. So the uniques are the hardest ones to get, but also you can only ever play 1 in a deck, so you need the least number of those. But technically, if you opened 8 boxes, I think on the ordinary side of the fence, you would have 2 or 3 play sets of those.
Yeah.
So if you had like a case of 6 as an example, you would have a lot of uniques. You wouldn't have them all, and you would probably have a playset of everything else.
Nice.
The elites also tough.
Yeah, I've seen I think Robert got into a lot of boxes and they're like, I don't have any of this one elite.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Yep.
This is actually a random distribution. I also think there could be a really good sorcery format that's just ordinaries. I think it'd be so fun.
That would be
just slap like
interesting.
That.
All those creatures. Apparently, Matt saying in the chat, Hayne said 3 boxes plus the precons was the best coverage for the money.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, because at some point, I think 3 boxes is when you're very likely to have a playset of ordinaries. And maybe even exceptionals or most exceptionals. So at that point, you're really just down to focus.
The gravy.
Yeah, but it's also these beta boxes come with 36 packs, and the draft we did, we only used 3. So a box technically supports 12 draft seats, which you could do a big group of 12, but also like 2 6-person drafts for a single box. That was super fun, and you don't need anything else than 1 box to do that.
And if you're a store owner, run a 12-person draft for sorcery and charge $20 a person.
It is definitely better than charging MSRP.
It's the greatest thing you could do. $240 on a box and everybody's happy. Literally everybody's happy. I'd pay $20 sorcery drafts for the rest of my life.
I would. You know what? It would be really cool if there's like a whole weekend where you could just keep drafting.
Would be cool. Matt Strat, as a guy who backed Alpha, I can say I wish I got more after I had the cards in hand. The game and cards are so good. I've heard this 1,000 times over. What a place to be talking about sorcery and Earthborn in the same video. This is a dream come true, but why not add a third one to the pile? How about Ashes? You guys really need to understand what's happening with Ashes. It is a miraculous, incredible thing that they're doing, making this game as viable, if not more viable, as a PvE solo co-op card game, and also, or as a, or more than a PvP head-to-head competitive card game. Why not both? The meme would be appropriate here, but they have done such an incredible job. We got the Red Rains Corpse of Euros as the kickoff of that, and that is the main box that you need to get the board and everything to actually play the format. Then we just got our first expansion a couple weeks ago. That was Frostwild Scourge. Never know.
It's gotta be Scourge,
big
right?
Frost zombie thing, or ghost thing, zombie thing, ghost thing. I think it's kind of ethereal. And then we just got the announcement from Plaid Hat that the 3rd of the PvE expansions is hitting soon, and that's called the Blight of Neverset. And Zach,
which magic type is this? It's gotta be nature.
Let me tell you how awesome this is.
I love what I'm seeing.
So you fight one of those big, you know how in all like video games, the like poison plant stuff is like the most awful. Does anyone else feel me on that?
Yep.
Anytime there's like a voracious plant that you're fighting, it's like, this is miserable. They're going to slow you down. They're going to poison you. It's like a plant, right? It's like, why is this so hard? It's a plant. But this got me really excited about this encounter. So this chimera called the Blight of Neverset is this very strange, it's almost kind of a Hindu-looking big eyeball and kind of one of these like ancient god-looking things. You fight the Phoenixborn in 2 aspects. It has a bloom deck and a thorn deck. The bloom deck blossoms into a display of beautiful glory, while the thorn deck ruthlessly strikes from the darkness and withers away all that the Phoenixborn can muster. And this is the charm magic deck that you're included in this. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the last one was nature. Frostwild Scourge was nature.
Oh, really?
This is charm.
That makes sense.
Giant plant thing that you're fighting, and it looks like it's going to be great. But just to be able to roll out these like big epic encounters, still add cards to the PvP version of the game so that your collection grows and you still have more options in that format. I saw the Ashes tournament at Gen Con, caught up with some folks there, looked great. And this mode continues to flourish. So if you're out there and you're into something like an Earthborn, you're into something like a Marvel Champions Arkham Horror, Ashes is worth putting on your list of games to consider in that format. You can keep it set up on the table, go down to the garage or up to the attic or whatever, have it set up, and then spend 30 minutes to an hour relaxing, kind of working out a problem and figuring out how to beat this encounter, putting it away for a second, going downstairs, having some dinner, some beer, whatever you do, and do it again next day, next week, next month.
I said it a lot when we first streamed Red Rains for the first time, but That PV experience is a true miracle of card game design.
It's really impressive.
It's crazy.
Really, really impressive.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Brandon Wilson Screaming Ashes, which is of course great. But Renrock said, my first come into content was watching back the original Earthborn streams last year. Got super hyped about the game and Covenant and got back into card games in a big way. So thank y'all.
That's amazing.
Isn't that awesome? I love, like, that makes it so worth it to be doing this.
Man, can you imagine if Earthborn was your entry into card games?
I don't know that anything would be the same. It'd be hard to kind of go into the other genres.
For me, it was Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which is its own entry point.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Still, you said it, man.
Still trying to catch them all, you know? And be the very best. It's just in my bones.
Jason Lindley, what's up, Jason? Playtester here. Blight is straight up awful. Such an ambitious design and so tough. Best set yet.
You left the heart out. He said awful with a heart.
I did.
Which it means it's awful in the best kind of way.
I tried to imply the heart with my eyes. And then Art Bastard says, you guys rock.
Hey, Art. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. You know what?
There were people saying the website's great, by the way.
Oh.
That was earlier, in case you missed it.
Love that.
So it was fast and beautiful.
Fast and beautiful.
And the designers must be really handsome. And then the people in charge of the project must be super smart. Some of those are lies. They didn't say some of those things, but most of those things are true.
I'm going to tell you 3 things that are true, but 2 of them are a lie. Art, I just love seeing your face and your name over here in the streams. Art is like, he's always a hype man in the stream. He's just always like into it.
I'm going to be honest, Van has not said sup yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder if this is all a simulation. That's what I'm waiting on. But yes, he is always around. I love Art.
And Curlick said, just received my copy of Frostball and Scourge. Thanks, guys. This will be a long weekend. Isn't it awesome to get that in the mail? And then you just you can look forward to it. Savor it.
It's a Labor Day weekend. It's a big weekend.
You got to savor it. You got to set it there. You don't open it yet. You set it on the table and you pass by it for a few days. And then you finally get there. It's Friday night. The deck is cleared. You get to open it and see what it's all about. Absolutely cool.
Austin saying loves the icons for each game on the website.
That's a Jonathan thing right there.
Nice little thing.
Brandon Wilson, let's talk about this. How would you compare Earthborn Rangers to the Pathfinder adventure card game? I got to tell you, I played a lot of Pathfinder. I played a lot of D&D. I played a decent amount of Earthborn. I never played the Pathfinder adventure card game. Have you, Zach? You haven't played it.
I thought we played that at Gen Con one year.
Did we? Mm-hmm. What was it like? What did we do?
I don't remember. There's a reason we didn't play it more. I'm sure it's great, actually.
Yeah, especially if you're into Pathfinder.
I don't have an extensive RPG history. So when we played it, there wasn't anything like, nostalgic to me about it. So you guys were more excited than I was, I think. But that was a while ago.
I'm trying to see.
Is it pretty old? Like let's say 8 years ago?
I think it's got to be more. Oh, 2014, yeah. Yeah, this is an expansion in 2014, so it's been around a long time. I should probably check this out. Paizo, really capitalized on the D&D pivot from 3.5.
Art saying ACG is solid.
I imagine that's the adventure card game.
Yeah. Casey's saying, happy to see the Netrunner section of the site still alive and well. Man, those data tokens, you guys keep buying them, we'll keep selling them. Man, it's crazy. So those are wildly turning 10 this year.
Isn't that crazy?
Double digits. Nuts. People are still buying them. It's crazy.
Also, have a drink.
Yeah.
Drink some water, would you?
It's been too long. You forgot.
The pitch has gotten a little lazy, everybody.
Drink some water. H2O isn't sponsoring us. Rib Cribbage. Have a rib and some water.
We lost our sponsorship in the content pause.
Yeah, we stopped doing content, and they said we're gonna stop paying you.
And we're not getting our money's worth anymore.
Yeah, it's just a crazy. we have jumped the shark now. We are off the rails. So, is there anything else we need to cover before we get out of here? You got any questions for us?
No, just wanted to
chat with
everybody. Store update. Let's talk about the store. First of all, you guys it probably doesn't come along because we're not live, but I guess that's kind of an indicator in itself. But we have just been absolutely slammed past 2 to 3 months.
I think professionally and personally,
yes.
Both of us. It's been exhausting. I'm really happy to be back, but it's been exhausting. Yeah.
Sometimes you get those tornadoes that come through in your life. And it's just shut the storm door and wait. basically.
Just survive.
So yeah, the storm door is coming open.
Yeah. So some updates on that front. We moved at the end of May, which is when the studio went away. We had recorded some Alpha Clash videos.
Yeah.
Which we posted in the meantime. We streamed from here a couple times, or once, and did some more videos from here. But basically, we moved into a new facility, and we're living in the south half of this building. And on the north half, we're going to be building our offices and our studio. And we've been working through an extensive process on specifically the studio, on Jonathan in the background, who's been doing a lot of that, all the way down to like the paint color being really relevant for the background. It's peppercorn, by the way, in case you're curious. Really, pandemic happened, we started streaming a lot, and one of the big things we're looking to do is pivot back into a lot more produced, edited videos, really high quality, intentional content. Really, same feeling of the website right now. I think it's very intentional, very focused on exactly what we're doing. So, studio, I mean, it's a lot of things that are going to be amazing to have, including the thickness of the walls and the recipe for building it so that it keeps the sound out and the sound in, the ceiling tiles that are sound treated, the carpet on the ground, the mounting system to hang all the gear so that it's not on the ground like this stuff behind us where you can see this camera here. And the best part for me is heat and air while we're live without the sound. Now, it's actually quite complicated to get heat and air into a room without noise, which is a problem for the microphones. But that's what we're working on. And also natural light, which is either insane or genius. That there's going to be natural light in the shop, but we'll see. So that's been a big project that's been going on. On top of that, we reached the tail end of the website process. And that was a 2.5+ year pursuit, which I
not intentionally,
funnily enough, started. We hired Larry, our lead developer, to build technology for our local store 3.0.
Can you be a lead developer if you're the only developer?
I think you default to lead developer.
Yeah.
Like John is the lead designer of one. Larry's the lead developer of one.
Yeah. So to be our developer, let's put it that way.
That does sound a lot less cool.
Yeah. To be our lead developer on this massive team of one. But really, there's technology we want to build for 3.0, and it was originally we're gonna do this project, and we'll go from there. Like if you like working here, and if we like having you work here, everyone will be happy. We'll keep going. If not, it's a really nice natural stopping point. We never had a lead developer on staff, so he got in there and very quickly is like, well, technically, we could build on top of this platform that you have here, but it's not very good. And so it's going to be really hard to build the app that you want on top of this and for it to be integrated. And then there's going to be a lot of problems in the future. And just kind of knowing where we wanted to go.
You call that technical debt.
We had a lot of that.
Which was a good term.
Yeah. So the idea, I remember you floated me the idea. It was like, hey, how'd you feel if we switch platforms? And I laughed. Because it was like, oh God, please. I just wanted to build a local app. I didn't want to go through all this again. And I have a little PTSD from our 2015 website launch, and we were kind of at a stable point. So that was not super appealing to me. And then we also were talking about the idea of building from scratch, our own fully custom, as Larry would call it, web stack. And it's like, well, that's not happening. That's crazy. That's no.
We're not going to build any.
So we ended up deciding to move platforms. It was this long process. The platform we're moving to oversold and underdelivered. In January, we made the decision to not do that either because we were restricted. We're making so many concessions just to exist for not a lot of really good reasons.
Yeah.
So then at that point, we'd built the subscriptions or most of the subscriptions app to do what we needed to do, which is the majority of what we do. So made the decision to scrap that platform and build from the ground up. And then we recently launched that. August 14th, I think was the date.
6 months. We got that from 0 to where it is now.
Yeah. And that's the new website we were talking about earlier. But that's also been going on top of trying to wrangle this build out and getting all this figured out to make it happen. So all this relates to 3.0, which is the question. Just ask for the square footage. That's what that reminds me of.
That was Colby, right?
Yeah. We were having drinks with Plaid Hat at Gen Con. and Colby had asked effectively how big the new 3.0 would be. And I launch into this big thing.
Well, we were going to do it.
And at some point, he's like, I was just asking how many square feet it was. But the move into the warehouse and the offices and stuff we're building, we're going to be, once this build out is on the road for the office and warehouse, we're going to be revisiting all our plans for 3.0, re-engaging with the architects, updating those plans to remove the warehouse and offices we were originally going to build as part of that. And
it opens up a lot of space.
It's crazy when you have to have just even the warehouse, not even the offices, that need to be able to receive deliveries from large trucks, right, semis and stuff, and receive pallets and that kind of thing. And also, ideally, this warehouse is connected to the back of your store, where the staff are going to be, so that if I need to grab something in the back that you want to purchase, I don't have to walk all the way across the store to go into a random room. And then the shape and size of our property is finite, so it puts you in a lot of boxes that you have to, again, sort of like with a website, make concessions on either the warehouse or the offices or the studio or the play space. And this lets us really focus the project on just being the best place in the world to play tabletop games and nothing else. So it's going to open up a lot, and so we're going to be revisiting those plans. But my maybe overly optimistic, because once you involve contractors and builders, I'm seeing it on a smaller scale with this office warehouse build out. I hope we're open next year. We'll see.
I think it's doable.
Once we break ground,
it's very doable.
It'll be a lot easier to tell, but it's the next thing.
It'll be a Gatling gun of events. Once at a big event.
Yeah, once we're open, we want to. I've said this to a lot of people. We want to give people a lot of good reasons to show up and to visit. I know there's a lot of people out there who've been following along in the journey, who want to come see it. We've been hyping this up for a while, and there's also, side note, on the website in the footer and towards the bottom of the homepage, there's a purpose section. But then from there, you can actually get to our history, and then even on the blog, there's the 3.0 thing, which kind of goes over a lot of this and talks about the journey. And it's really been a 16-plus year march to get to this point where we're able to invest the time and resources to build what we think will be the best place in the world to play tabletop games. So hopefully we're right, and we want to give everyone a lot of reasons to show up and tell us whether that's true or not.
Yeah, if we're wrong, we'll close. A lot of questions about Star Wars Unlimited. And we did play that at Gen Con some. You played it with Jeremy.
I'm trying to remember. What is that?
You played it with the Zwerninator. And Robert and I played a few matches over
Almost
at
got
the
him
table. Thoughts?
Open season?
I'll give you mine. I'll tee you up.
All right.
So I think it's just as great as any game out of FFG has been, broadly. I think it's aimed a little more mainstream. It has probably a little less flavor injection for the benefit of simplicity. So like when you compare it to like a Star Wars CCG, it's not going to be as in-depth and granular as that, so that you can pick it up and play it a little bit. It's a little bit lighter, but lighter doesn't mean lack of complexity. And I think that's a really important piece of this, that just because something's accessible and easy to understand up front doesn't mean that it can't go deeper and have layers and layers. I think, and I've said this, and maybe this is, I don't know, maybe this is kind of cynical, but I don't think a studio like FFG is just going to whiff at a 2-year Star Wars card game design project. It just doesn't happen. We know enough about card games, we know enough about design philosophy, we know enough about what works and what doesn't, that it's not just going to be unplayable or bad.
Sure. Yeah.
So it is very much a good functioning game. It's very much in the vein of Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. I think the art style was really awesome for me.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of that.
Well, the art style to me, go ahead.
And
sorry.
All that to say, I think they're trying to, rightly, I think they're trying to compete at big box and local retail stores with the big three and beyond. And if you're going to do that, you do it with Star Wars and accessibility and something that's easy to get into, that doesn't, that gets to your standard booster packs with your distributions you would expect, with collectability on the alt arts, foil treatments, etc. I think they're following the playbook very well. And when you have a property like Star Wars, you do that. And I think, I hear these commentaries a lot when people are talking about this game, and I think it's read as negative, but I don't mean any of that in a negative way. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a game that is aiming for commercial success in that kind of way. Like real commercial success, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Sorcery is looking to be in Target.
Right.
But I do think that Star Wars Unlimited is looking to get to that scale, and I think they can do it. And, the design team is really good. I think the depth absolutely comes out over time. All these games, you play 2 games with a pre-con, and you're like, well, I'm going to make a judgment. It doesn't work well to do it like that. Yeah. But I enjoyed my time with the game, and I had a great time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the game itself is fun from what we got to experience. And we're playing the demo decks, right? In the YouTube short we posted, I was talking about, it reminded me a lot of Destiny, where the demo decks were fun, but I, at that moment, was not hooked, as it were. Mm-hmm. But then the next day or a couple days later, when they'd sent us home with that early, like the beta product, and we were playing it all day, it's like after about 30 minutes, like, oh yeah, this is something else.
Yeah.
So the concerns really come from a lot of other places that people are having, which is just like, Destiny was a great game. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I think the design development, set 2 and 3 were kind of rough, being honest. And like one of the issues and the concerns is not that there were mistakes that were made, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
For a while. Like we lived in
like a band restricted.
Yeah, a tournament meta for like 8 months that was pretty bad, honestly. And that was after didn't print enough set 1 and sold out immediately. Delayed set 2 so they could print more set 1. And so then it was like 9 months in between set 1 and set 2. And then set 2 came out, and then we had the next 9 months after that drama was a questionable play experience. If you're playing tournaments and stuff, I mean, people playing at home probably don't care.
Yeah.
But just that like lack of action in that moment. And it does seem like all the signs point to they are taking this effort way more seriously and they're way more prepared. I mean, 2016 is a different era. Mm-hmm. But releasing a collectible game in 2016 is just era. It's crazy to think about it. They were getting criticism just because they were releasing a collectible game. Mm-hmm. Now it's like everyone's like, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think the game's good. I think it could be very successful. I think that the thing standing in the way of it being successful is FFG and Asmodee. It's not going to be the game was bad or the development was bad. I don't have those suspicions at all. As much as, is there a random 8-month delay between sets and they don't say anything? I remember that happened with Destiny. Mm-hmm. Another thing that happened with Destiny is they released a set 2 months earlier than expected on July 5th for some reason, which is, for context, that was a Friday. July 4th is a Thursday. So you can imagine trying to schedule like launch day weekend in the United States was, and it was like a late announcement on top of it being a holiday. So it was just like a buzzkill.
I think the hook of your commander being a static entity and then being on the field and then returning to a static entity is very good.
Yeah.
I think it's a strong hook.
Like the zones.
The deck building is really smart, the way that the icons are working.
Threshold system and stuff.
It's right there.
And draftable from the start. Mm-hmm. That's a huge difference between Destiny and this attempt. I think that's massive. Mm-hmm. Then we're seeing right now with we're getting a lot of questions about Lorcana as well, and it's going about as I expected. I thought it'd be crazy. The hype on this one's been off the charts.
Well beyond just card games.
Yeah,
card game players.
Like tons of just a lot of distribution supply issues and like this whole crazy thing. So releasing the game at all is hard. Releasing it successfully is also very hard. And this is a category that we have not seen Asmodee/FFG successfully manage, as far as I know. And so that's the grand question. Mm-hmm. And we really won't get that answer until it's happening.
And I honestly, I think FFG is only doing that right now. I think it's a Star Wars Unlimited studio, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you have Marvel and Arkham, but like, that's kind of just going. And those releases have slowed down.
Yeah. Okay, so, and some people have asked in the Ask Covenant, like, will you have subscriptions for Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited? The thing for us with subs, like, we did this dance for a while out of necessity with distributors and basically the lack of reliability when it comes to the amount of product that you're getting as a retailer. This plagues all of us. It plagues local retail stores, which trickles down to customers. It creates a ton of angst in the industry itself. It's a huge problem, and there's no easy solutions to it. However, when we're in a position where we can't reliably get a number of products that we order from a distributor, from a publisher, we're just out at this point. So a lot of times, like with Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited, these games are aiming to be so big that they aren't in a position to make guarantees to retailers, even if you order a certain scale or make certain agreements or whatever. They're just basically, they want to use the distribution system as it's meant to be used, where they print a bajillion boxes, they send them all over the world to these distributors, and they're done. They don't want to have to deal with anything past that because they're managing a lot bigger scale. So in those instances where like we just can't get any traction on, yeah, but we need a guarantee of X amount, we can't offer a subscription. We're not going to do any commercial support for that kind of a game. We may play it. Zach and I will probably get some Star Wars Unlimited. We may go to tournaments. We may play the game professionally, if you will. We'll definitely get some pre-cons, check it out, and see if we want to go farther.
Well, it's hard to imagine a world where a new Star Wars card game comes out and I don't go draft it.
Oh man, let's just draft all the time.
Yeah. So like I will explore it. Same with Lorcana. Like at some point when the product is not crazy overpriced, I want to play it.
Yeah,
I want to see what's up, and that's part of it. Forever it was just like, is the game good? But yeah, we're just kind of over that dance. That's even why on the Sorcery pre-orders, like it says on the page guaranteed. And we like to work directly with our publishing partners and help support them and their game and their community. And so when that's not really there, it's just not happening.
System just doesn't work. All right, everybody. Hey, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream. This was kind of an ad hoc thing. We just wanted to get in here and do it. And we've been talking about this. I think there is a distinct interest in returning to some kind of a weekly touch point on these kinds of streams. That may be when the new studio gets built. I think we're probably 4 to 8 weeks from that, if I'm real. What, 12? 24?
I mean, I hope we're for
2025.
No. Again, it's sort of like 3.0. Once build out starts.
I hope it's not sort of like 3.0 because that's not even done yet.
Well, I'm saying it's sort of like 3.0 where the timeline is tough to say until build out starts.
Yeah.
Because until there's people doing it and like agreed to do it and do it physically, I can see it. I just don't have a lot of trust in.
Yeah.
Things always happen.
You're holding up now.
It'll get there though.
It'll happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen
We'll
as fast.
Keep you updated, and we'll stream from Zach's attic as much as we can to keep connected.
It's literally the main project for me.
Yeah.
It's to just get that, and the studio has been a part of that. It's like because it's not just building a room.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that has gone into how do you get heat and air into a room without sound? It's a good puzzle.
It is a good puzzle.
Yeah. We're solving it.
All right, so Earthborn, go check it out on our site. Sorcery beta pre-orders are closing September 8th. That's next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday.
But really, order by the 7th.
Order by the 7th,
Just order by the 7th.
Ashes continues to crush on the PvE mode. Get on that subscription. Try out the game. We've got a good Red Rain starter where you can do that. You can find that on our website too. And the world just keeps spinning. Thank you so much for being here with us, everybody. I've been talking to a lot of people. It's a tough time for folks right now for whatever reason. So just, have some grace out there when you're dealing with the people around you. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.